This week, we're talking about PlayStation's move towards a digital-only future and why gamers are up in arms about it. Is this the unavoidable next step for the industry, or are we just losing something important?
Get ready for the Girls on Games podcast, your weekly dose of news, reviews, and everything video games. Always served with a good helping of hype and just a pinch of salt. And now, your host, Leah.
Hello and welcome to another Girls on Games podcast. My name is Leah. I'm the host of the show. This is episode number 547. And joining me around the table this week is Catherine. Hello, Kat.
Hello.
And Joelle. Joelle, what's up?
Hello. Survived the 4th of July.
Yes. Happy National Day to both countries.
Yes. Yes.
All right, let's get through some housekeeping before the crew check in. If you enjoy this show, you can subscribe. We're available on Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and Podbean. If you'd like to give us a tip, maybe buy us a coffee, you can do that by going to our Ko-fi. That's ko-fi.com/girlsongames. Ladies, what have you been up to this week? Kat?
We did something very teenage-like today.
Oh?
Yeah. Remember when you were a kid in summer with nothing to do and you just kind of like start calling your friends and kind of meet up in a park and do nothing?
Yeah.
That's what we did.
Wicked!
Amazing.
Yeah, I was texting with my friend Uva and she was like, I don't know what to do today. I was like, the weather's so good, I need to actually at least go outside. I was like, my plan is like to maybe grab like a bubble tea and go sit in a park. And she was like, yo, let's go get ice cream at Iconoglass, of course, the place that has all the crazy sundaes.
Yeah.
And she's like, and then we can walk down from there to Père Marquette, which is a big park in like that area of town. And she's like, we'll just sit in the grass and chill. And I was like, cool. So I just grabbed a tote bag, water bottle, towel, sunscreen, out the door. We had crazy sundaes. I had the one with custard cream and strawberries and chiffon cake, stuff like that. Strawberries are in season, so they had the crazy strawberry sundae. And then we went to the park, and then everybody said yes. So what was going to be like me with a bubble tea and a book in a park ended up being me with like 6 friends and two small children.
That's awesome.
Amazing.
Yeah, because we texted my friend Guillaume being like, because, it's hard to coordinate with him, but we were like, we know, like, we just tell him when we're around. And if he can come, he comes. And he's like, oh, well, he's like, we might have to go to like where the splash pad is if a child decides to come with me. And I'm like, we're like, whatever, it's fine.
Yeah.
We'll just move closer to where there's bathrooms. What a terrible idea,
Yeah.
And he ended up like showing up much later because he's like, it was going to be just me. And then the youngest wanted to come. And then the oldest woke up and he was like, but I also want to come. So then my girlfriend was like, well, I guess I'll come too. So he had to restart the process of leaving the house a few times, but he made it. And it was great. And then we just, sat in the grass and we talked while his kids splashed around. At one point, one of my friend was playing with his oldest. They went to borrow a soccer ball because there's like an area where you can borrow toys there from the city. Yeah.
That's cool.
Wow. That is neat.
Yeah. Because that area has a park for small children, and then there's a splash pad and the kiddie pool, and there's also the community garden.
Okay.
And there's like essentially what they call a chalet, which basically is just like a hut, like a building with toilets and whatever, but there's always like city workers that are there that will lend equipment. Like, so there was a couple soccer balls. We kicked the ball around and it was very nice. It was very fun. It was great to see some people I haven't seen in months. And yeah, just an impromptu park hangout. It didn't have to be complicated. When we're adults, we always feel like we got to do an activity or we got to do this or, I think a lot, especially my friends that have like children, it's like they have a very structured life. and, you have to keep the kids busy and blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, and my friend Uwe and I were like, remember when we were teenagers and we just like not have plans and we just wanted to hang out and we just like go for a walk or go sit in a park? I was like, yeah. She's like, we should do that this summer. I was like, absolutely. And it works 10 out of 10. Highly recommend. A lot of people will say no because it's like if you catch them off guard or whatever, we get that. It's just today the stars align. Mercury must have been in Gatorade or something. And everybody was available and showed up.
Yeah.
But yeah, you remember, kids, if you're an adult, you don't A, have to spend money to leave the house, and B, it doesn't have to be complicated. Maybe you just need a towel, a water bottle, and a park.
Nice. Amazing. Yeah. Joelle, what were you up to?
Well, it's my last week of freedom before I had to go back to work. It's crazy. So I was at the gym with a friend today, and I'm like, he was like, well, what exercises can you do or you feel comfortable doing? And I told him about it, and I'm like, yeah, it's been 6 weeks. And it was just so weird to say that I had partial knee replacement surgery 6 weeks ago. It's so weird. And then I have to go back to work next week, so I'm off my medical leave. So yeah, there was the 4th. I didn't really do anything for the 4th because it's been so hot, and I just kind of didn't want to bother with crowds and sitting on the ground or standing up and sitting down. I don't know. I was just I don't really feel like it. And it was Ripley's first 4th of July, so I kind of wanted to make sure she was comfortable and she was home, and we just weren't leaving her in her crate.
Did you give her the drugs?
We sure did. So we have these calming chews, and we give her those before she goes to the vet, and she does pretty good. And so I gave I didn't have enough to give her the usual dose to really chill her out, but I just gave her what we had, and she did pretty good. When it was inside, she was much more calmer, and she would hear them and she'd be like, what is that? And then, I'd be like, it's fine. And she was like, okay. But then when we went out to go potty or something and she heard and saw them, then she kind of freaked out a little bit, but we, tried to soothe her and give her treats and be like, this is fine. And then, there were people though shooting off fireworks in our neighborhood until 3 a.m. And I was really I actually took a sleeping pill because I knew people would be firing them off really late. But Ryan was they were going off to 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, that's so rude.
That so rude.
I get it. It's the holiday and it's okay, midnight, but then you gotta cut it, you gotta cut it off.
Yeah, stop at midnight.
Stop at midnight. And so, so for cranky elder millennials that were these kids and their fireworks.
Get off my lawn.
Get off my lawn. But I did something really kind of exciting, is that I went to the pool and I swam for the first time, and I was cleared to swim. And so I went and did that, and I was hella sore the next day, everywhere. I was like, this was a lot. It was just so interesting because, I think my body was just whoa, what is this? And, but it did feel good to swim. And so I'll probably swim tomorrow too. So yeah, just kind of getting back in the groove, doing a lot of prep work tomorrow before I have to go into work. Really happy that at least it's a short week. I kind of did that on purpose, where it's I don't have to do a full week.
How is it a short week? Do you have another holiday coming up, or are they off tomorrow?
I took tomorrow off.
Okay.
So we had I guess people had Friday off. And so I also took my leave technically is 6 weeks. And so because my surgery was on a Friday, I get the Monday off for the full 6.
Okay.
So I was pretty happy about that, and don't have to go full. And then I have my follow up with my surgeon next week, and then I'm kind of done with that kind of stuff. So it's a little.
That must feel good.
It does, and then it's just so weird. It does, and then it's also just really goofy. But one day at a time, and kind of getting it together. So yeah.
Wicked. I babysat my niece for the first time by
I
myself.
love that. It's so cute.
I mean, I hadn't babysit a kid for the past 20-something years. So I used to babysit a lot when I was a kid. I did lifeguard training and first aid training and babysitting training and all that kind of stuff when I was a kid.
Wow.
So yeah, actually, I gave my sister the Heimlich maneuver quite a few times when we were younger. So she knew her kid was in good hands. Yeah. I made sure I knew how to do it for a baby because it's slightly different. No, she's a year and a half, but still there's a difference, right? So anyways, it was great hanging out with her. It's crazy, the personality already coming out. Like, it's nuts. We sat there and watched football, and she has 3 footballs that we've given her. Mike gave her a Germany one, a full-size normal one to my sister, and then also the Troyanda, but a mini version. And then she had this other, like, Canada soccer ball, but it was more like a toy soccer ball. But yeah, we were just playing around with those and having fun. And then I gave her dinner and then put her to bed and everything was good. And I was like, hey, I did it.
Still got it.
Got it. So yeah, it was good because my sister and brother-in-law had a wedding to go to. So they had asked me last week because they were in a bind and didn't have a sitter. I'm like, sure, why not? And and then I just, once I put her to bed, started watching garbage television. Yay for Real Housewives. So yeah, but yeah, elsewise, just, normal kind of week. We're recording on a Sunday. We usually record on Mondays for those who are in the know of how we kind of produce this podcast, but it's because I have an event tomorrow. We're doing an iHeartRadio Live at the Horseshoe Tavern with Shinedown, but it's 2 members of the band. It's Zach and Brett. So it's going to be like a stripped down acoustic set with a Q&A and all that kind of thing. So I've got some friends coming into town from Montreal. I know love that band, so that's gonna be really fun to see them. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So that's why we're recording on a Sunday. So what we're talking about is a little bit more in the past than it usually is when we do this show. But yeah. All right. It's time for our Fantasy Critic Update. And this week, the story is completely different depending on which league you are looking at. In the podcast league, not much has changed. Joelle remains comfortably in first with 110.3 points. Kat sits in second with 95.1, and I'm just treading water. Speaking of swimming, Joelle.
yeah, you got it.
There were no bids, no drops, only minor review score adjustments. The biggest story, though, is what's coming next. Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced, which is launching this week, and it's giving me my first real chance in months to gain some ground. Meanwhile, Kat's upcoming lineup continues to look terrifying. Joelle currently has the lead, but Kat, you might have the strongest fall update coming for anybody. We're still looking at GTA 6 watch, of course. And it's not, is it going to arrive or not this year? I think it's pretty well guaranteed. The question is this going to cinch Joelle the win in this league this year?
If it scores lower than a 90, I'm going to be shocked. Like, to be honest. Like, I guess, like, my expectations are that it'll score pretty high. So.
Yeah, I have a feeling. There's too much riding on that game.
Yeah. There's so much
riding on that game.
Yeah.
Over in the Community League, things are much more interesting. Jessica Starr still leads with 95.8 points. Damn those points adjustments. But Phoenix has climbed into second place with 92.6 points, just 3.2 points behind. The reason? Rhythm Heaven Groove. The game scored 82.9 and helped push Phoenix up past Joelle. And so he now sits in third place with 86.9 points. So the first time all season, Jessica's lead looks a little bit vulnerable. Joelle, you're not out of it. You still have the Altars, which is launching next week.
Yep.
Plus the unannounced 3D Mario game that we don't know what it is. Could be something wild card. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah. So to recap, Joelle still controls a podcast league, while the Community League has officially become a 3-player race between Jessica, Phoenix, and Joelle. We'll see what happens next. Yeah. All right. On to what everybody's playing. Kat, what have you been at?
I think it's really funny because of this week's topic, but I borrowed Astrobot at work.
Like you borrowed a game?
I borrowed a physical disc.
Like you rented it almost?
Yeah, like because if you do physical games, people can share them and borrow them and gift them. Yeah, so we have this little internal service at work where you can rent games. You can borrow games, consoles, stuff like that. And I've had Astrobot on my watch list for a while. And then the email came and I clicked on reserve and I was the first nerd to fucking do it.
Good for you.
So I've been playing Astrobot and I have not been this delighted by a game.
Oh my gosh.
Since Mario Odyssey.
Yay!
Welcome to the club.
Like, now I get it. Like, I get why it won so many awards. I was like, this is like Mario Odyssey levels and like of delightfulness. Like, all of these levels and these little planets are so well crafted.
Mm-hmm.
I love how all the powers are animals.
Yes.
Like how you have special powers, like you pick up 2 frogs and then you can box. You pick up a pit bull and it's a pocket rocket on your back. You pick up a mouse and you can become super small. I'm just like, this is so delightful. But I was not prepared for that when each time you finish a galaxy, you have a level themed with a very popular PlayStation franchise.
Mm-hmm.
And today I did the God of War one. The Bot of War.
Yes.
It is perfection. It is so well crafted. You even have a mechanic where you throw the axe and it comes back.
Yep.
And your little bot that's usually like so cute and whatever starts to act like Kratos. Like when you respawn, it yells like, "Brrr!" I fucking love it. And now I'm just sad that I did not grow up a PlayStation kid because I think a lot of these franchises and like that level with the ape attack was lost on me because I did not grow up playing a lot of these games or enjoying a lot of these franchises. And when I did get a PlayStation, like my PlayStation 2, I ended up playing just a shit ton of Final Fantasy. So, I didn't play Parappa the Rapper. I didn't play Katamari Damacy. I didn't play Ape Attack or whatever.
Were they
Ratchet
all
and Clank.
featured? I haven't played that game yet. Are they all featured levels? Like, is there a Katamari Damacy level?
No, but you can find a Katamari Damacy bot.
Okay.
Yeah, I think there's like over 50 bots that you can find that hark to like throw back to all of these franchises. Like it's crazy.
That's cool.
So when you start a level, it tells you how many bots there are. And some bots will have like the 4 PlayStation symbols next to them.
Okay.
And that means that they're a cameo bot.
Oh.
So I did a level where it was like mushrooms. It was all fungus. So all the cameos were from The Last of Us.
Of course, clickers galore.
The first thing I see when I land on the level is in the corner, there's an Ellie bot playing guitar.
Nice.
I'm just like, oh, okay. Oh, this is very on the nose. But yeah, and I think there have been updates because somebody showed me their completed save file. It was 300 bots.
Wow.
And I'm currently playing and it says I have found like about 170 bots out of 301.
Wow.
Oh, there's that many. Okay. I was like, I know there's an insane amount of
I
bots.
was not ready for the amount of content.
I
was not ready. Like I'm in the second galaxy and I found this little secret that gave me, and it's a triangle, a green triangle because, PlayStation. And it gives you these little 4 levels where you can find a bot. Those are wicked hard. Like I cannot get them done. And I'm just like, I have this disc for 2 weeks. Please don't be that. Please don't be that hard.
This is like a Blockbuster. I have this disc for 2 weeks. Like,
I'm pretty sure I
can.
I can renew it.
You can renew.
Yeah.
Oh my
I
God.
might already send them an email being like, I am not bringing this back in 2 weeks. Like, are you kidding me?
Funny.
But yeah, it is adorable, delightful. It is well crafted. I haven't had that much fun playing a platformer since Mario Odyssey, and I shit you not. And it is so well done. It really uses the controller to perfection. I love how your mothership is a giant PlayStation 5, and I know it's like super marketing or whatever, but it's so well done. Every time you find a piece to rebuild the console, you have this little mini game to like fix it up and then put it back in the console. It is everything about this game delights me. That's all I have to say. It is delightful.
Delightful.
Adorable and delightful, and it brings me so much joy. And it is worth borrowing a PlayStation 5 to play it. Honestly, like, out of all the games I've played on PlayStation so far, and people are like, yeah, does it really matter if I buy one or if I rent one? I'm like, you have to play Astrobot.
Yeah.
You have to. Like, it is amazing. Yeah, so little cute robots bring me so much joy. And now I have to find all the puzzle pieces, do all the special levels, find all the robots, all 301 of them. I'm Googling some of these cameos because I have no idea who they are.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So does this disc come then with the DLC? Like, does it automatically have it?
I don't know. There's a DLC?
Yes, there was a free DLC that was added.
Probably.
You can probably just download it.
Yeah, because
probably.
It copied from the disc, and then I launched the game, and it told me I was out of date. So I've closed the game and I patched it, and then I reopened it.
Oh, probably.
Okay,
then.
you probably have it then.
Probably have it then.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if it's the whole thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it is fucking amazing. Like, I get why it won all the awards. It is such a finely crafted game. Like, so much love and care was put into this game, and I'm having so much fun and finding all the little secrets and playing with all the mechanics. And today I won a boxing match against a giant octopus that was wearing a snorkel mask. And I'm just like, that's Astrobot, baby. And after I finished boxing that fucking octopus, they were like, you land in the water and you flip over a boat. And there's Kratos and Atreus bot there being like, what's up? And then that unlocks their level. And I'm just like, oh, this is the best day of my life.
Love that.
Yeah. Did you end up playing it, Leah?
No, I haven't had a chance to play it yet. Mostly because my PlayStation has been occupied. Right? But Mike now, it's still set up next to his gaming PC. And he's been playing it a lot and he's really liking it. He's actually playing like a Le Mans game now with some of his buddies from online. But he still has he mentioned he wants to go in and take pictures of his setups so that he can kind of carry them over for his different tracks and stuff that he does within F1. But countdown's on because Wolverine is coming. So yeah, and for that reason, like he's been playing that, so I've been kind of sticking to the Xbox more often than not, but it is definitely one of the ones that's on my to play list because I played I want to call it a pack-in game, but it was kind of like a supercharged demo that they had with the PS5 when it first came out.
That Playroom.
That was very much like what that game was kind of spawned out of because the Playroom did so well, and it had very much those things with like lots of nods to previous PlayStation franchises and things that are synonymous with that brand. And I loved it. It was so much fun, especially since one of the mechanics in that was essentially finding all the different consoles over the years, and that was like your main hub room. It was all there. I thought that was really fun. So I am definitely due once I'm able to get my PlayStation back. How about you, Joelle? What are you playing?
So I have gone deeper into the altars, and it wasn't the game I was expecting. I guess like I was expecting a little bit more I guess like freeform with and like a little more open play than what it is. It's a little more structured. But so it's like it's a little bit more handholdy, like on rails than I was expecting. And so once I kind of moved through that expectation and got through the first chapter, it's opening up significantly, and I'm finding it more difficult to like manage all the tasks because you are a crew member that was stranded on a kind of a very lethal planet, and you have to farm for resources and manage the health of your base, all the while also managing all of the dynamics between your clones. And they all have insanely different personalities and different focuses and prospects. And then they argue and they get mad at each other, and you have to decide if you want to intervene or not intervene. I don't know. This is a lot of like strategic decision making. And I'm kind of at the point now where there's like a crescendo of options, and your alters can also die. And I was like, oh no. So I had to, oops, sorry, I bumped the mic. I had to quickly rectify the situation because I made a critical mistake early on. Like one of the alters wants drugs to cope with like what is happening, and I was like, sure, I'll give you drugs. Apparently that was a wrong decision to make, to give someone drugs. And I was like, oh no, with like a pretty dire consequence. And I was like, oh no. So I had to like, they do give you an option to try to rectify it. Like if you I'm just like, I can't believe I made this. I thought it would make him feel better. I was just like, oops. Like you can have drugs. Like it's fine.
As a treat.
Yeah, like, you know, you're like, yeah, like you're a clone. Like why don't you just deal with like your feelings, and here's some coping mechanisms. And apparently that was the wrong move. But the writing is really good. The voice acting is super good, which makes sense because you have one voice actor that has to play. I think right now I have options to do 6 or 7 different alters. And so it's the same person that's trying to, you know, come up with like 6 different characters of the same character. And so it's really interesting, the choices in like cadence and pitch and tone that they take with it. And it's just one. That's all you really get. And the play mechanic loop is also really interesting. Like I feel pretty stressed while playing it. I'm just like, I have to go do this. I have to go do this. And you're on a timer. So there's like hours during the day, and you have to make the most of what you have. And like, they're always asking for something, and you can't get to everything. So something has to be sacrificed, and there's consequences to that. So you have to kind of like fix it later. And, yeah, it's a really interesting game. I'm really enjoying it so far. The DLC does drop in next week. Yeah, next week. So I don't know if I'll get through the whole thing by then, but I am really interested in the DLC, and I'm really interested to see how this game ends. And it was kind of a slow burn for me, but now I'm pretty hooked, and I am excited to see kind of what happens. So I'm really pleasantly surprised. I'm glad that it was a little bit different than what I thought, but then it is pretty good so far. So really unusual premise for a game. So
cool. I went and downloaded Day of the Diver on my Switch 2 and then upgraded to the Switch 2 version, and then went and downloaded the DLC, and then opened my last save and realized I have no idea how to play this game anymore. I have vague idea, and I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I get dropped into the ocean, and I'm like, I don't even remember how to catch a fish. So I decided I did not delete my save, because I do intend on going back to it, because I was far. I was almost done. And I started again just so I could relearn the mechanics, like how to do certain things. So I think I'm at the point now where I'm comfortable enough and remembering enough of the mechanics to be like, okay, let's go back and actually get into the DLC. Because the thing is similar to kind of like what you're dealing with, Joelle, with like systems on top of systems on top of systems. I hit the point where I started getting some of my employees to go and acquire certain spices and other things you can add to your recipes, like soy sauce and stuff like that. And then also, too, I think there's another part where you're opening up like another restaurant in another spot. And I just started that. But I was like, I didn't even know how to go catch fish. So like I already had the farm, I already had the pools for like harvesting fish and all that kind of stuff, but I was like, I could not remember the controls. So I was just like, all right, let me just get the groove back. And I'm like, okay, I remember this. Let's go back. But then serendipitously, or maybe not, a code for Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced dropped into my email, and I said, yes, please. So that game comes out on Thursday, and we're allowed to talk about it by the time that this episode releases. And ladies, I fell right back in love with Edward Kenway right away. I forgot how good that game is. Like, I remembered it was good, but like, it was like not even a heartbeat, just jumping right back in to Assassin's Creed in the way that I like Assassin's Creed. And not only did it felt like, you know when we're playing like a lot of, like, we go back and play older games and we have a lot of rose-colored glasses for them, and you're just like, and you're like, old game old. Well, because this has been rebuilt from the ground up, it was almost like I didn't have that, which was kind of trippy. So I was just remembering the fun parts of what I had before, no longer like some of the like graphical things and stuff like that, you know, at the time I was like, this looks phenomenal, but in today's standards, you know, totally different.
It was a PlayStation 3 game.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And like, that's probably the first thing when you jump into the game, you're just like, this looks so goddamn good, because they've now put it on rebuilt it completely on the same engine now that Shadows and Valhalla and everything else is on. So,
I mean, it's technically the same engine as before. It's just they're like 20 branches further down the line.
Exactly. So improved on improvement on improvement. It's crazy too, just going back, because I was like, I don't even remember what this looked like before, and then I went back and looked at it, and like everybody looked super muddy back in the day. Now I know they were supposed to; they're pirates; they're supposed to look a little dirty, but like the facial stuff. Like, just
they look pirates.
Now they might look a little too clean.
Yeah,
that's okay.
They need to be more sea worn.
Exactly. So yeah, like they really cleaned up. Like, I mean, come on, the ocean, the underwater diving, it all looks so good. The animals look way more realistic. It's just like the little things, the outfits. Oh my God. So, so along with that, with visual and like those technical upgrades, the game's gotten a combat overhaul too. So it's much more like action oriented, skill based, parrying, dodging, all that kind of stuff is definitely back in there. That I really liked, because I just feel like it feels more modern. Like, it feels like I'm just playing Shadows again. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not that far. Stealth has got an improvement. I did not realize in the original game, you could only really crouch in the bushes. Now you can crouch anywhere. And I just thought that was a thing. Like, this is what I'm saying. Like, you're just like rose-colored glasses. You just didn't remember that wasn't a thing back in, when did this game come out? 2013? 2014? Does that sound right, Kat?
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. It was one of the first Assassin's Creed that was open world.
Truly open world, yes. In that sense, because of the ocean mechanics, Yeah,
they would hide the loading with your boat.
But they fixed some of the other loading. Do you remember when you used to go to like Havana or Nassau or anything, like it would almost stop, load, and then you would dock, and then you would jump off the ship?
Yeah.
That's gone.
Oh, yeah, because now all they do is open world stuff. So they've got that, basically that lazy load going.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I remember like you would load either the ocean or like if you're off the boat. And depending when you fast travel, if you fast travel like at the other end of the fucking map, that would take a hot minute. That now we didn't have like doom scrolling back then, but it was long enough for you to doom scroll a bit.
Oh yeah, I remember. When you'd see the little like tips on screen, things
or
like that.
Opening the map. Like I remember,
Yeah,
Assassin's Creed 3 and Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag opening the map was a fucking chore.
And that is something that I do a lot in these games because I'm back to my old shit where I have to clear the map before I move on to the next bit.
Oh, sure.
You know, progression be damned.
All the pressure.
Because the items are there. And like the thing is now too, part of the complaint of the first version of this game was that, you know, there were islands everywhere and you would go over and look at it and there wouldn't be much to collect. The only thing would be like a vantage point for you to synchronize with or something like that, right? Now they've gone and like hyper developed that. So there's more things for you to go and find. Which is great because there's like an island over here, an archipelago over there. Like there's so much for you to go and experience, right? And that's what you want to do when you have the jackdaw, right? Yeah. And I'm like 5 hours in. I've gotten, you know, through the beginning. Also, that game kind of gets you going right away. It's another one that just like, you know, like it teaches you the mechanics as you go much better than like older games even previous to that where they would bring you through some of the mechanics first in your training sessions or whatever else. This game doesn't do that. And you slowly kind of progress through the story. And that's like, as you go through, like, finally, I'm actually a pirate parading around as an assassin because I'm not really an assassin. And I've got my jackdaw, I've got my crew, and I'm out to, you know, pillage and go through the ocean and plunder and do all these things. Go R-matey.
Get the booty.
Yeah, always get that booty. Always getting that booty.
Yes.
I remember getting my hands on the CD from, I think somebody had the special edition or whatever, and I had ripped it because, and I listened to the sea shanties a lot.
There's more!
I know they added more shanties.
More. I love it. Oh yeah, that's the thing. I'm like, I'm just out in the ocean. I'm flipping through all the sea shanties. I'm like, what am I hearing today? And they're so goddamn catchy. I was singing one around the house.
For me, Leave Her, Johnny, Leave Her is one of my favorite.
Yeah.
What Do You Do with a Drunken Sailor is a classic.
What do you do with a drunken sailor?
Yep.
I know, like the Whaler Man, whatever, went trendy on TikTok.
That it did.
But everybody was like, oh, pirate sea shanties. And like all of us millennials like, nope. Y'all didn't play Assassin's Creed 3 or 4, and it shows.
Yeah. Where you been? Where you been? I gotta say the underwater stuff. Like, I love swimming in a game, and when you can swim and it actually looks like it should.
Yeah.
When you're down in the Caribbean and it's tropical as fuck, like, so good. Apparently, though I haven't done too much naval gameplay yet. There are new Jackdaw upgrades. There's new recruitable officers. I haven't encountered any of them yet because I just got my Jackdaw and crew. We talked about the sea shanties. There's new expanded naval progression systems. That's kind of interesting. We'll learn more about that as we go. There's been reworked dialogue. New story missions and quest lines. Their expanded scenes featured Edward's wife, Carolyn. I think I saw one of those because I don't remember a moment featuring hot chocolate. Do you remember that, Kat? Did that ring a bell?
I forgot the man had a wife, to be honest.
Yeah, he the very beginning of the game, he's like, I'm off. And she's like, how long? He's like, a year, maybe 2. And she's like, okay, I'll deal with 2 years. And I'm like, good on you, woman.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
I'll deal with 2 years.
I'll deal with 2 years. After 2 years, I'm off to find another man.
I was gonna say, yeah, she knows how to deal with those 2 years.
Oh my God. I'm interested, though I haven't seen any of this yet. There's supposed to be updates to the modern day story. And the modern day story in Assassin's Creed, outside of the Ezio/Desmond.
Yeah, Desmond dies in Assassin's Creed 3. Sorry, spoiler.
Sorry, spoiler for something that's like 20 years old.
But yeah, as of Assassin's Creed 3, there's as of Assassin's Creed 4,
which is
there's
Black
no
Flag.
more Desmond.
Right. So that's where they were try and figure out what the fuck to do with the real world timeline. Because for those who don't know, Assassin's Creed is essentially you're going into the Animus back into your ancestors' timeline, and you're playing through their experiences, which is really funny. Because one of the things is I accidentally cut down a chicken. I didn't mean to. I'm sorry, chicken. But then I got this pop up on the screen that said Edward didn't kill just like people and animals. And I'm like, I'm sorry, he got in the way of my fight. I was like, it's not my fault. Damn you, chicken. But yeah, you're essentially playing a historical version of one of your ancestors and kind of going through the motions there. So the Desmond Ezio thing worked out really well because they did a really good job of like intertwining those two stories. But now that we don't have a persona that we're following, who is the person sitting and connecting to the Animus and going through this experience, this is the first game where that kind of like they had to juggle some stuff. Obviously, in later games, there is a person that you are. That is kind of like your normal day. I don't remember her name though, Kat. Do you?
Oh, it's on the tip of my tongue.
Damn it, Cassandra, because that's that's who you play. But like during that, you kind of get introduced to her in that game, don't you?
Yeah,
in Odyssey?
And it's in no, she shows up in Origins, and then she's in Odyssey.
That she's in Odyssey too. She's in both of them.
Google is failing me.
Google. All right.
Google.
Someone tell us in the Discord.
Yeah, modern day
Assassin's Creed.
Layla Hassan, thank you.
Layla.
Yeah.
I was like, ugh, it is.
So, what's not in this game? If you played the previous one, there's no multiplayer. There's no RPG style progression system like Origins, Odyssey, and Shadows. They didn't try and jerry-rig that in there. And it's still a single player action adventure experience focused on Edward. I believe the old game had like an online connection thing. This one does make you ping the internet once, but then you can play the full thing without being on the internet. That's not a problem.
I remember, that there's the mechanic of like this mini game of sending out your fleet to complete missions.
Yes.
And I remember that you could connect. I think there was an app.
I remember that.
I remember playing all of those missions for Assassin's Creed 3 and Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag on my iPad.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then you'd log in to the game, and then your progression would have been in the game. But I think all of those old things are like offline, and those apps were not updated. And
sure.
But I remember doing that, and I remember on my iPad actually keeping a map. An image of the map because for Assassin's Creed 3 and 4 because like we said, opening the map took so long that sometimes I would just like, am I in the right area? And I'd be like, I just pop it on my iPad to kind of like with the mini map and kind of see because opening the actual map, I was like, I don't have that kind of time.
So I just want to make sure I remember my timeline here now. You have Assassin's Creed, the original, Assassin's Creed 2, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, Brotherhood, then Revelations?
Then Revelation, then 3.
Then 3, which is Connor, right?
Yeah.
Then 4 Black Flag. I forgot. I know someone tripped me up in this during a game we played not too long ago that I thought Connor was after
It's
Black
because
Flag.
Connor is the grandson of Edward.
Right. That makes sense.
But the game, Connor's game is 3. And then Edward's game is 4.
Right.
So it is Assassin's Creed 2, Brotherhood, Revelations 3, 4, Black Flag,
Unity.
And then you have Unity and
Syndicate
Rogue.
/Rogue.
No, Rogue was with Unity.
Right.
Because Unity was the first one that was PlayStation 4.
4.
Yeah. And they made Rogue for PlayStation 3.
Right.
And then it's Syndicate. And then you
get into Origins,
Odyssey, Valhalla, Mirage,
Shadows. and that is the Assassin's Creed series.
Those are the main games. Like I don't remember
there's
where
Liberation
the Vita games.
and DLCs. I fucking loved Liberation. That was great. So I'm 5 hours in, so the rest to be seen as I continue playing this game. But all I can say now is, now that they've given me a taste of what it is possible in rebuilding a game like this, can we please do this with the Ezio Auditore series? Please?
Yes.
Please?
Yes, because they had to release the Ezio collection on Xbox One and PlayStation 4. But it was not very much an upgrade or anything. It was just like string the games together, backward compatibility, enjoy, and it was like all 3 games for like $50, you know. But I would love an entire Ezio series resynced, like rebuilt in not the Anvil from early 2000, but the Anvil of now.
Today's Anvil. Yes,
today's Anvil engine that they use for the Assassin's Creed pipeline. I think it would be worth it to rebuild all the Ezio games.
I think if people enjoy this one, I don't see why they wouldn't, because there's so much good out of that series. Like that is the Assassin's Creed that I fell in love with.
Brotherhood is like, I know, like if people talk about like S tier and they're all their own tiers, but like in terms of just like success, whether it be PR, monetary, everything, what made Assassin's Creed was Brotherhood. And like the Ezio that you see a lot when they represent Ezio in his assassin's gear, he's always wearing the Brotherhood a suit. He's not wearing the one from 2. He's not wearing the one from Revelation. He's wearing the one from Brotherhood, because that's the most, like, that's the quintessential Assassin's Creed game for a lot of people and for the series.
The iconic.
It is the iconic one. So yeah, totally. Like I want to see the Ezio collection resynced. I think it would be worth it also to make like a nice resynced package with like 3 Rogue and Black Flag, like all 3 both games.
But if they I want, the thing is if they give us the remake of 2, Brotherhood and Revelations, I don't want them to try and smush it into one game. I want them to give us all fucking 3.
No, I would do like they did for essentially the Ezio collection. Is that you remake all 3 games, but you package them in one SKU, so that, you know, for whatever $100 you get all 3 games, because Revelations is not very long in terms of content, and these games were like pretty long when they came out, but in today's standards they're like a snack.
20 hours maybe.
Like
they weren't that long.
A completionist run is like 30 hours on these games, and that's to find all the fucking feathers, and who does that? So yeah, it wouldn't, like, all 3 Ezio games you could play in 60 hours, I want to say. 60 to 70, depending on how much of a completionist you are. So I think so. There's, you know, I know why they redid Black Flag, because like it is definitely one of those. It is another iconic Assassin's Creed game, and one of the most popular one and the best-selling one. And it did not get the kind of love that the Ezio games had when they redid the reissue and everything. So, but now that we've gotten this taste, I just love when people, you know, upgrade old games so that we can play them again. I know a lot of people are like, we should be getting new games and whatever, and I'm like, yeah, but also like we could get reissues of games that did not age well. Like I would love a reissue of all the Dragon Age game, like they did for the Mass Effect Legendary Collection.
Yeah.
That's the thing, and we're gonna get into that because it's kind of partially topic of the show. But there are times when we just can't. We have no means to be able to play these games anymore, because can't have access to it, because we don't have a disc with a console that play it, or it's not available and something you can download or something like that, right? Or it's just so painfully hard because old, right?
Yeah.
I don't think we realize how much BS we put up with just because we didn't have the mechanics. We didn't have 20 to 30 years of experience of developers making games and learning how systems can be built. It was, you know, a lot of this stuff in its infancy, right? An open world game in its infancy, right? So,
Yep.
All right. Well, we don't have a game this week. Why? Because we've got so much to talk about. We've got so much to talk about in the topic of the show, where we're going to dig into the PlayStation Disappearing Act. That's right. What a week it was. And we'll get into that right after this break. If you spent any time on gaming social media over the last few days, you've probably seen people arguing about PlayStation, physical media, game ownership, preservation, and whether we're about to become renters instead of owners. That's because Sony dropped a pretty massive announcement this week. Beginning in January 2028, new games released on PlayStation consoles will no longer be produced on physical discs. In other words, PlayStation is officially moving towards a digital-only future. Now, on one hand, this doesn't feel entirely surprising. Digital sales have been growing for years. Many of us are already buying most of our games through online storefronts, and disk drives have slowly become less important with every generation. On the other hand, the reaction online has been intense. Collectors are upset. Preservationists are upset. Retailers are nervous. Even Domino's Pizza somehow got involved and started making jokes about ending physical pizzas. So we're diving into what PlayStation announced, why people are reacting so strongly, and whether this is simply the inevitable future of gaming or the beginning of the end of game ownership as we know it. So ladies, let's kick it off. What was your immediate reaction when you saw/heard this announcement?
I went to Discord because I have a Discord full of like people that are going back to physical media, and they were not happy.
No, I bet you they were not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because like after like all the studio closures and the bad news and everything, and you know how game servers are getting closed and the ESA being like, oh, personal servers are like illegal, and we're like, fuck you. And now PlayStation's like, oh yeah, we're not making physical discs anymore, and people are like, how are we gonna, you know, share our libraries anymore? And I guess that's the point. The point is like, okay, so there's a cost to physical media that they want to cut, obviously, but there's also they want to force people that if they want to play a game, they have to buy it. They can't rent it, they can't own it, they can't gift it. And I think that is doo-doo. As somebody who prefers digital, I still think it's a terrible decision.
Joelle, thoughts?
I like my heart broke a little bit because it kind of felt like a final like nail in the coffin a bit of like, oh, this choice is now being taken away. Like in some sort of like in a final way. And I didn't like it. I was just like, this sucks. Like because I know a lot of people that love physically collecting games, and I get to play a lot of games that I haven't played or wouldn't be able to play because of like physical discs and sharing and things like that. And it feels a little gross. Like, I guess to me, it feels kind of icky that like this expensive hobby that is so meaningful, like to so many people, and is such a huge piece of culture, and it has so much influence in so many areas that like we're no longer be able to physically have anymore. And like I think we'll get into it, but like I think this was a wrong move, and I think eventually like just like how vinyl like came back in a big way. I think eventually we'll come full circle and we'll get them back. But like for right now, yeah, this felt bad.
Yeah. And I think the internet was right along with you. We saw so many
Mhm.
op-eds and videos and whatever scathing, like pissed off
Yeah.
people. What do you think they're actually upset about? Is it that they can't physically go and buy a game and own a physical copy? Is it that they can't do the trading? Is it that they don't have something that they can use as leverage to go and then sell back to GameStop or something like that? Which I think I saw a social post of some dude who went in and gave in like $1,000 worth of like Xbox 360 games and a console and everything
Yeah.
to buy a new PlayStation 5 like
So
the day before or something.
Well, he found out that they, like, as soon as the announcement happened,
Oh yeah?
I think what happened is that he wanted them to buy more PlayStation physical copies of games. So he went to GameStop and traded in $1,000 worth of his Xbox games, and then he bought PlayStation games so that he could have the PlayStation games. I don't know if he was trying to like resell them or own them just because he wanted to own them, but he made out like he still has credits at GameStop because the PlayStation games, I guess, were like lower credits than the Xbox games because they were still producing them physically. And so, yeah, like, I don't know, but yeah, he like immediately went and traded in a ton of Xbox games for PlayStation games. I think probably to sell, like to try to sell online because they're going to be. So like, there's a thing now that has occurred where it's like, that's great. Hawking PlayStation physical disc media. And I don't know. I think it really depends on like who you are and kind of what you value. Because I think that for some people, they're going to be upset that they can't physically own the game anymore. And I think for others, it's going to be like that trading aspect. I think it just really depends. It feels like a big blow to the consumer in general that it's like you can no longer have this choice of interacting with this media that gave you so much leverage and choice before, and you can only get it in this one way. And it just like how when you buy a movie like on Amazon, you don't like own the movie.
No,
Like
it
if
can be taken away at any given.
Exactly, yeah. Like Amazon can say like, oh, I guess we're not supporting this anymore, and you don't have access to this, even though you purchased it. And you purchase a license though, like you don't purchase ownership of the media, which I think is a key detail that people will like miss. Like you don't own the rights to it, you own a copy. And I don't know, it just feels like we're like losing a lot of stuff because there are some movies where I'm like, I wish I could watch this movie and I have to pay for it. And I'm like, this is dumb. Like I should just be able to watch this like older film.
There's stuff that's not even available. Apparently Battlestar Galactica, if you don't have the DVD box set, it's like, fuck you.
Yeah, because they don't.
That's
no one has a
terrible.
license. It's probably tied up in licensing hell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think, Leah, you were asking why are people angry? All those reasons. Because anybody that enjoys physical media does it for all the reasons you listed. And that's being taken away from them. Yeah. And like most of my friends, except the PC gamers, because PC has long lost like the disc and whatever. But
we don't have disc drives anymore on our
exactly.
PCs.
But my friends who play like on PC, that play on console, they do buy the physical game because like that's the advantage of that. They're like, we play on console because you can buy a disc or a cartridge and then we can lend them to each other and we can share them because these games are getting more and more expensive.
Yeah,
they're $100 fucking.
Yeah, in Canada they are $100.
Yeah. And you don't even have like the joy of opening the thing, like opening the box and then seeing these finely crafted booklets that they used to come up with like art and explanations and everything.
Yeah.
And a basic tutorial, and then you had your cartridge or your disc and you'd put it in. Like we lost this whole like connection to these hobbies. It's a bit like how people don't know that a chicken is a bird or that beef is a cow. It's like, you know how people lose connection with how their food is made or where it comes from or how it's sourced and everything. I find like when it comes to media, because of the digital medium, people lost a lot of that connection of just like going into Blockbuster and seeing a wall of DVDs or VHS tapes, and just kind of like being excited when you saw that they have the new Van Damme movie, or, you know, you would be gravitated towards the photos of these celebrities, and we're losing this now with games. It's like just scrolling down an online store is not the same.
Yeah.
At work, we took over the music director's office. She's gone. She's at Warner now. But we took over the music director's office for our video space. And the reason we did that room, besides the fact that it's a fairly large room, is that on one wall, there's an entire CD wall. And I'm talking like 9 to 10 feet tall, 9 to 10 feet wide, all full, all in alphabetical order of just CDs. And every time an artist comes in, they're like, whoa. And like you go through, and every time I look at it, I find another gem. Now, mind you, I don't necessarily have something to play a CD on. We do have a lot of retro tech there because God love the radio engineers. They keep absolutely everything. But there's something about it and the experience of, having, like you talked about, the physical book, the physical item, having a piece saying you own something because you have a physical, like you feel more precious over it than just CDs, I have a DLC or a download code for something.
Yeah, and these CDs have lyric booklets.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and photos. The whole thing is designed. I've done those before for artists. I've made them, and it's part of, it's a job, right? So before the announcement came out, we got the news about the pre-order date and everything, and then the pre-order starting for Grand Theft Auto 6. But part of that announcement was the fact that there was not going to be a physical copy of GTA 6, at least not at launch. And now there was a little bit of conversation around that. It's because they didn't want physical copies out there in the wild, because technically if you're going to fulfill retail shipment, like that's often how games leak and things like that. So part of this was to counter that issue, because obviously that would be a problem, right, for that game, considering how high profile it is. Do you think that PlayStation waited for GTA to announce that to kind of cushion the blow that they were giving here?
I don't think it's related. I think it's related in the sense that, everybody's going towards digital. I don't think it's related in the sense that PlayStation knew that was going to happen.
I think PlayStation knew it was going to happen.
Well, how would they not know? Like, I guess how would you not know?
I guess, yeah, because they can't. They're not distributing the discs.
Right.
I guess they would know, but
and I would think that PlayStation
they would know it's happening, but they wouldn't know when it's announced, though.
Maybe, but maybe they were just waiting. They were just waiting for it to come, because like when we got this news, like on a weird day too.
Yeah, it just dropped, like kind of like in the middle of the week, like with no reason, and it also came
before the holiday.
Right before the holiday, and it also came quite a ways after GTA said they would not be selling a physical disc for it. So people already got the news and had accepted and gone through the grieving period of that they wouldn't be able to buy, or if they bought a case, they wouldn't get a disc. They could buy a case, because you get a case and then you get a code. So you can still display the case, but there's no CD in it. So I think that was like the first like blow a bit, where it's like, well, all right, well, at least I can get a case, and like if that's what I really want. And then I don't know if PlayStation was just like, we're gonna rip the Band-Aid off, like before the rest of, like before the winding up of like September, like all these crazy games that are coming out in September.
They clearly did it now because it is a slow news cycle, or
I wonder if they expected the reaction that they got.
How could they have not have got anytime they don't do backward compatibility on anything, people lose their freaking minds. This is like that tenfold.
Yeah, it is. It is. You're right, because it's like there was some really good videos that came out that talked about that exclusively, that said like, if you get the new PlayStation, there probably won't be a disc drive, so you can't play. Like, you have to keep a console that can play a disc in order to play your games with a disc. And I'm like, that sucks. Like, that's really unfortunate.
Yeah.
Because, like, the hardware fails, and then you have to somehow source a part for that hardware in order to keep, because I mean, the thing is, like, with media, like, VHS went to DVD, went to Blu-ray or whatever, and you can just buy another copy if you wanted to, and like those were available. It's just like with this, it's like nothing. You just don't get anything.
And speaking of like Blu-rays and DVDs, like gone is the lost art of the like commentated version of watching the show, or like the extras, or like the trailers or blooper cuts that you get all those extra things on the disc, right? Like you get like the director's commentary and on talking about a thing. Like that was so cool. Like that was why you went to see your movie in the theater, and then you wait, anticipate you like if you went back a second time or whatever, and then the movie comes out on DVD, and part of buying the DVD or the Blu-ray was having all that extra content to dig deeper into the movie. Now, mind you, the internet probably has supplied some of that. I mean, Stranger Things came out and like every single episode had a freaking the making
podcast
of kind of thing, right? The podcast,
the making of,
whatever,
and behind the scenes,
but
and,
like having that dedicated, curated kind of piece of content that was the reason, the bonus of buying the physical object, right? Was really cool.
Well, it's kind of interesting that you say talking about that, because like this is a little bit of a sidetrack, but I think it applies, because like if you are into the Dungeon Crawler Carl series, if you buy the books, there is an additional bonus content with the books that is kind of like a little bit of an extra story that gives it a little bit of a different spin. And I'm reading the books, and my partner Ryan, he's listening to them, and I asked him, I'm like, do you know like what this extra section? He's like, I have no idea. So like, if you're actually reading a book, and if you buy the book, you get this extra content, but if you're listening to it on Audible, they didn't include it.
That's crazy.
So I just think that is really interesting, that like they're sneaking in extra content, but like you said, like it's so fascinating how like extra content gets snuck in, and now it kind of actually, it's just like Sophie's choice of like how you get that content, because it kind of doesn't matter if you buy it in the original way, or like quote unquote the original way it intended to be. So I think like there's also this thing too of like, even though you subscribe to the streaming service, you still have ads. Like in watching an older movie, like
in some services,
and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I want to watch a movie on Peacock, and it's like, enjoy these ads, and I'm like, this is dumb. I pay for no ads. Like I pay the extra tier for it. Yeah. Why am I getting an ad?
Content is expensive. I can understand if it's trying to recommend you another show, as long as it's not like a sale thing, like it's internal, being like, here's the latest show, here's a teaser for it, like that kind of thing. I don't mind that. I hate it when it's like a straight up ad.
No, I hate it when it's I don't want it. I don't want
it at all.
I don't. Yeah, I don't want it. I want to watch the movie. I paid just to watch the content. Like I don't want it.
Yeah, especially interstitial.
Oh, interstitial.
Yeah.
Those can fuck off. Like if I paid for any kind of tier, you are not putting unskippable ads in the fucking middle. And it's like my bestest, most precious subscription that I will never ever cancel is YouTube Premium for that fucking reason.
Yeah.
I love YouTube
Premium.
Between that and YouTube Music, I'm just like, because I spend too many hours, absolute like fucking hundreds and thousands of hours watching Critical Role on YouTube. Do you know how many ads they could put in there?
Oh, yeah.
In that 5-hour episode?
Oh, yeah.
I think, though, that leaves then the consumer susceptible to then having no control over what the video game people are going to put in there.
Right, exactly.
Because that's just it. I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, so I'm not going to own this, first of all, like in a physical way. And then I'm going to have to be inundated with some sort of, like, I don't know how it's going to come to fruition, but it just is.
It's coming.
They're coming. It's coming in so many ways. Like they said, even Apple Maps, like, was going to come out and like, you have to have ads. And I'm like, this is dumb.
Yeah.
No, everything is going to have sponsored posts. All the sports games have baked in ads right now. Like,
well, have you seen the thing with Levi Stadium and how they had to cover up the Levi's logo, and that became like a meme, and Levi's ran with it for FIFA? But I mean, it's also because
they had to cover Heinz.
People paid big money to be affiliated with it, but at the same time, to the lengths they will go. Okay, I know we could continue down this rabbit hole, but I've got a question for you ladies, because, like, we need to be honest, right? Like, when's the last time you bought a physical game? Because for me, I can't tell you. I haven't bought a physical game. I bought the PlayStation without the disc drive. So for you ladies, when was the last time you bought a physical game?
I don't buy physical, but I borrow physical.
Yeah, same. I probably borrow more than I buy, but I do, like, if I want to go back in an archive, I'll go to GameStop. Like, I will just go to GameStop and peruse games and be like, oh, well, do I want to play that? And, like, that's how I played the Dragon Age Inquisition, is I went and bought the physical disc to play. And I think it was Spider-Man Miles Morales, I think, was my last physical game that I bought.
Yeah.
I borrowed the disc from Alba.
Shout out Alba.
Yeah. So, and I mean, I'm not going to say that, like, I love physical, mostly just because of storage, actually. Like, if I had the unlimited amount of storage, I probably would buy more physical.
Yeah.
But I also had lived in, like, I lived in a basement for a really long time. And then the condo didn't, like, it just sat in storage. And I was like, I just don't, like, what am I going to do with this?
I'm with you. The thing is too, is like I moved across many provinces and between countries for 15 years of my life, right? And it just, the legwork to bring something back and forth was just a pain in the arse. And right now under my bed are 3 seriously huge Rubbermaid containers just full of physical games and consoles, right?
Yeah.
And I don't want things just there to collect dust. I'm overseeing things. I was talking with my neighbors earlier today, actually, and we were mentioning, have you guys seen those memes online of, like, why millennial gray and the look is like a thing? It's because back in the 90s, we used to have the, like, visual overload with, like, the aesthetic of, like, how people would have their houses and everything with like the jewel tones and the clutter and the stuff.
Yeah.
Just stuff. Having stuff was a status thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm over that.
Yep.
So that's why I've gone full digital. And actually, like, talking about percentages, like, I can't even tell you the last time. Actually, Michael bought me Mario Party one time for the Switch as a Christmas thing so he could wrap it up and put it under the tree. That's about the last time I bought a physical game, and it wasn't even me doing it.
Yeah. I will say, though, at least Nintendo's physical media is small.
Yeah.
Because, like,
the footprint.
Yeah. The footprint is small, which actually, when I was thinking about this, I actually did buy because Bowser, there was like a bundle that if you bought Mario 3D World or something, you got Bowser's Fury or something with it. And so I did buy that because it was a bundle. And the cartridges are so tiny. And when you buy cases, like travel cases for the Switch, they come with all these little cartridge holders. So it also made it really easy. And I didn't feel like I was kind of burdening myself with media to buy a physical thing for Nintendo. Breath of the Wild was physical. And so I do think Nintendo helped itself in some ways by making the footprint smaller.
In hearing this news, does this change how you guys want to act? Do you want to go out and buy more physical games now? Or are you just going to continue the way you're going? I know me, it's not changing my habits because, I don't want more stuff.
No, I think that's just the thing, is that I don't want more stuff. But they didn't remake Mario RPG, but like there was a nostalgia to hooking up the SNES and throwing the cartridges into those games and playing them as intended, which was really special. And so now I'm like, well, if I'm going to play, it kind of almost makes me want to keep my consoles more than anything else, because especially this PS5, because I'm like, if I have my Horizon and Wolverine and Spider-Man, like, I kind of don't want to get rid of the console then. So I think in some ways it might move me in the direction of physically keeping more of those hardware so that I can have at least the drive and the storage space that had that game. Now, if they decided not to support those games anymore, I can't do anything about it. But
I mean, there was
like-
that whole hoopla when they said they were going to close the Vita store, and then people were like,
Yeah.
"I don't have a copy of my game. Like, I'm going to lose that shit." Like a dev was like that. When they remove those stores, so that means like that the DRMs don't work, and you can't re-download the games, and you can't launch the games,
yeah,
even though you kept the hardware.
Yeah.
yeah. So I guess it just makes me sad. I'm like, should I go out and try to buy Horizon? Because I'm just like, if I'm going to want to replay that game, I don't know. Like, I'm just like, oh,
Yeah.
sad.
I think, and this is where I might get, this is not great considering the job that I have, but I think this is where pirates will do the job that the game companies cannot do in terms of archiving and conservation. Good old games came out of like basically the pirating market and the gray market, and then being like telling devs is like, people want to play your old games if you just kind of like wrap your DOS game in an executable that can be launched on any kind of thing.
Good old
like,
ROMs.
Exactly, and then you sell it for $5. You're going to print money, right? It's like essentially pirates are going to do that. So what happens if the PlayStation 5 dies and you don't have a disc, or you can't re-download the game, whatever, you're going to find it playable on computer by somebody who hacked it or something, and ROMmed it, because they're the ones doing the conservation. It is not ethical. It is not, it's stealing. Let's put it that way. But is it really stealing if what we bought we didn't own in the first place? There's like this whole discussion about it, but I trust in the internet pirates to save our games.
Kat, you just did a great transition. I don't know, you might have been looking at the document. But the follow-up to all of this is then the next hot topic that everybody's talking about, and I think this is where this kind of evolved from, along with us having conversations about some of the things that have happened over the past little while, like games being shut down, especially online games being shut down and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Do we actually own our games anymore? And then the follow-up is, did we ever own our games?
Well, I think that would depend on isn't there kind of a point in time where you owned a copy of the game?
I owned a license to play a game. That could have been a physical disc that had a license on it. That's my understanding.
Was that always the case? Like, I'm just thinking of when
I don't
you
know.
bought. Like, I think that changed in some ways because when you bought a cartridge, I thought you owned a copy of the game, because there was no way for them to update it. And then when the technology became so that they could make updates via wireless and wires, then you owned a license. And then you never own the code or the artwork of the game. That stays within the hands of the publisher.
You bought the right to play it.
Yeah, you bought the right to play it. Yeah.
And I guess when you have a physical copy without some other internet shenanigans, you still own the right to play that game as long as you have that physical copy. With a digital one, let's take PT, right? The playable teaser that I still have on my PS4 that, not touching because that'll disappear. That right to play was ripped away when Kojima left Konami. If PlayStation shut down tomorrow, what would you trust more, your digital library or shelf of games?
Well, I guess would it really matter? Because could you even play your physical copy? Maybe depending on what it is. But I mean, are the servers shut down? Because if the servers are shut down, then I don't know how you're going to play.
Yeah.
How are you going to play anything?
Does it need to check in? I don't know.
Yeah.
Some games do, some games don't.
Yeah, it would totally depend on the game.
It was the whole thing about Xbox. The Xbox One needed to be online to verify that you own your game in DRMs and everything.
Yep.
I don't think PlayStation's any different. I think if PlayStation shuts down tomorrow, whether you own your physical game, your discs, or you have the digital library, I think, like I said, we're going to sail the high seas.
Pirates on the brain today.
Yeah,
we're
but
gonna get muddy faces.
Yeah.
I don't think unless everybody finds like fucking if before shutting down, PlayStation is like, all right, every dev needs to make an offline mode and basically download and patch your games now because whatever you have like on your console will still be playable. I think like PlayStation shutdowns and they disconnect the servers, you're gone. It's gone. You can't play it. Whether you bought disc or you have a digital library. It's going to be dead hardware because the way games are made today, they can't be 100% offline.
Mm-mm.
So we don't own our games.
Mm-mm.
But if we got, one of the things is when you bought the physical game, you had the opportunity to trade it in, or if you wanted to, used games, sharing, all of that. That's getting obliterated. And preservation also becomes complicated, just like you're talking about. 20 years from now, how are we playing any of these games? Kat says it's going to be the Pirates. So where do we go from here? If we're looking ahead, who follows? Xbox? Nintendo? Do they decide? I mean, Nintendo's got that really cool feature right now with the virtual cards where you can essentially, let someone loan it for 2 weeks before they have to check in or whatever, a week or whatever it is, right? I've done that with Mike between my Switch 2 and him playing the Switch 1, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's an interesting mechanic. But it's not the same as like Kat, exactly what you're experiencing now of not wanting to bring back Astro Bot because you're not going to be done in 2 weeks. So then you'd have to reconnect with that person and say, hey, re-grant me access again.
Mm-hmm.
Do Xbox and Nintendo decide to go down this route as well?
I think Xbox will. I don't think Nintendo will. Nintendo is too much connected to the hardware and the physical because they're in their own niche. They're very much, they think about the toy first. Anybody like in game dev, we talk a lot about the toy. What's the toy? What's the fun aspect and everything. And it's almost like this idea of bringing something physical into a digital, and that's how you make your game. Nintendo is connected to the toy, not just in terms of gameplay, but in terms of like their hardware and what they sell and, the amiibos and shit like that. So I don't think they're going away from physical stuff. They're making too much money off of it. Their hardware is actually profitable. So I think Xbox will, because Xbox, as we've seen in the latest news, are basically in cost-cutting mode. Stuff like Game Pass definitely leans into this idea of like, you don't own your game, you basically rent them. So they're like, all right, we'll just pay to have access to a library anyway. And if you stop paying, you stop having access. I think like a lot of people say Game Pass is like anti-dev and anti-consumer and whatever, but I think it's out of all the services, it's definitely the most straightforward.
Mm-hmm.
They're not lying.
Yeah.
They're not lying. They're like,
no, they're straight up.
No.
You pay for the service. You have access to the games. You have access to a discount if you want to pay for the game. If you decide you want to, if you want to like unsub or something, or if you think something's going to leave because games come and go on that platform.
Yeah. Exactly. I think it's more straightforward, like in terms of like no ownership. And people that buy a game, I'm like, you're kind of like in that situation. You just don't see it as much, or that rotation is not as fast, right? But it is, it is like, especially games, like the story of the crew. You license the car, you license the right to make the cars, you license the music that's in there, and all that has a finite.
Oh, it does.
It's all finite, right? And they took the
it has an end date. Yeah,
exactly. For many reasons. But one of them is just like, after like this year, Chevrolet says we can't use this car anymore, so it's inevitable. So I think for Xbox, just to circle back, Xbox is definitely going to lean more on digital. I don't know if they're going to lean more on the Game Pass or whatever, but I think definitely in terms of like, if they can stop making hardware, make less hardware, or make less discs, I think they will. I think they've been leaning towards that way. Not Nintendo. They're doubling down on the physical and the toys and the hardware and the extra shit.
I think this also creates then a space for a business then to actually then make discs that people can buy in order to play like in the disc drive. Like, just because there's always a way to get around it, right? Like there's always a way to get around it, or it comes back in full circle. Like I said, like now you can pay a subscription to play like older games, you know, through either like PS Plus or the you know, the all the Nintendo options where you can
Nintendo
play
Online.
Game Boy and the GameCube and like all of those things that you can pay money to play. But I think now there's a space where the businesses can pop up that say, like, if you want this physical disc, maybe you pay a premium price for it. Like maybe they add on a, you know, tremendous fee or whatever. But if you want a disc or a copy of it, I think there's a world where you can get that. You can get it.
Mm.
And so I wonder, like, if something like that will come up, because it kind of happened like really suddenly. And I think there's going to be enough people that are going to want to put a disc in and to play the game. And so actually, I think that it might have actually made my PlayStation more valuable because it's a disc version.
Possibly.
So I'm just like, oh, like I have a PlayStation that and I got it so that I could play movies if I wanted to on it, because I don't have a DVD player.
Yeah. I don't
So
have one
like
of
that's
those
the
anymore.
reason. That's the reason I got it, is because I still have movies, DVDs that I just sometimes will want to watch, and I don't want to repay for them or rent them, and I want to, because I own them. And so, yeah. So I think that there is going to be a way in the short term where something will come up. In the long term, though, like I don't know. Like, yeah, like going ahead 20 years, I don't know. That's going to be so wild. We're going to, you know, it's going to be a microchip in our brains, and it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's going to be so weird.
We're talking about new consoles coming in the near future. I want to say distant future, because I don't think we're getting out of this RAM and hard drive space problem right now. Will the PS6 even have a disk drive?
Oh, God,
I don't think so.
No
I
option.
don't think so.
No option.
No way. No.
All right. Speaking of 20 years from now, imagine it's 2036. That's not even that far. That's 10 years.
Yeah.
You walk into a game store and see a brand new AAA game sitting on a shelf in a box. Does that feel normal? Or does that feel like buying a DVD in 2026? Or does it start to feel like how people are collecting vinyl and cassette tapes now?
Yeah, it's a collector's item now. It's just weird people that want to collect old shit that doesn't exist anymore or isn't in production anymore. Mind you, that renewed the vinyl and cassette renewed people making new issues.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if you scroll on Discord, you know, Alban often posts like the vinyls he bought. So many of my friends managed to get the Engine de Poitrine vinyl, brand new album that just came out.
I am doing the Shine Down event tomorrow, and I have bought their new album and my favorite album, Amaryllis, on vinyl for them to sign for my vinyl collection. And I'm very particular of what albums I buy in my vinyl collection, because the vinyls are fucking expensive. You're paying at minimum $30, upwards to $100. And they're very much collector's items. They're, you know, multicolored discs, some translucent. You can get ones that have different inserts. Some of my coolest ones are from the Midnight, and they have a lenticular cover on them, or printed on holographic paper or something like that. It is a precious item that holds more weight than just I'm going to listen to something once kind of deal. And I think this will end up being the same thing. I mean, like, I feel like this was the same when we go out and buy figurines or like the limited edition box sets of a game or something like that. I think it's just going to get more heightened. And the question is will they then have an industry of creating new vinyl record players and new cassette tapes? You can go to Costco and buy a boombox today that'll play cassettes and CDs.
Which is wild.
Fucking wild.
That is wild.
Yeah.
Like, I'm actually surprised cassettes have. I'm not surprised at like DVD, like discs, but like
vinyl
I'm surprised
sounds
cassettes.
Good. Vinyl has a different sound and a different.
Vinyl is
the
great.
Flipping, everything. It sounds warmer, and CDs sounded really good because of the wave files. But cassettes were never one that like I'm an audiophile. I'm going to listen to this. Right?
No, cassettes were great because you had the Walkman. They were portable.
The
cassettes
portable
did not sound great. They wore out too fast. But they were fucking portable. They were in your car. You could get a Walkman, your vinyls. It was an at-home only situation.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that the something will come along where it's like, now you also have the option of buying like a physical, like Game Boy looking thing that already has preloaded Game Boy games on them. Like if you want that.
Are those legal?
So I think.
I know the ones, obviously, the little ones that Nintendo put out, the little mini consoles are, but I don't know if those are legal.
I mean, they're available. Like, I don't know if they're legal. Like, I'm not saying that you should go get them, but I'm saying that they're available.
Yeah.
And you can go buy them.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like, I think that there also might be something that comes our way like that, where it's like a portal, PlayStation portal, and it comes with preloaded X or PlayStation hits, and then you can play them that way. So I think like something will come around because there's going to be a market for it. Like we're going to be, what are we going to do in retirement homes? Like people, they already do
play
like bowling.
Wii?
There's Wii bowling leagues. Like people, so like that's a thing. And so I have to imagine that eventually this will come around again, and we'll have access to it in some ways. We're just not going to have access to like the niche, subcategories of not the big AAAs. Like those the little indie games are the ones that I think will suffer, which is too bad.
Well, we're just gonna have to wait and see how this plays out. I feel like we're coming through. We've been doing this podcast a long time. We've hit a lot of, let's call them like video game revolution moments, where there's a moment in time where you're just like, yep, I lived through that. And we're right in it, in the meat and potatoes of it right now.
I'm tired of living through those moments, though, Leah. I don't want any more. I don't want any more.
It's life,
big
Joelle.
changes. I just don't want it. I'm tired of unprecedented events. I'm done.
Yeah. To quote the heroes in Baldur's Gate 3, I shouldn't have wished to live in more interesting times.
And with that, we are going to close out the show. As always, check out girlsongames.ca for the show notes around a story. We will put the link to the blog post and some of our the stories that we were reading and things that we were following and the videos that have been made and the social posts from people who are just piling on. All dark humor for sure. But yeah, we're living through interesting times. If you have the power to rate and review this podcast, how you're consuming it, that'd be much appreciated. Why? It helps with discovery, pushes us up in the rankings, and any comments you leave help us build our shows. As always, I really appreciate Kat and Joelle joining me to talk through all the chaos that we live through each and every day. Catherine, where can people follow you online to talk more video game preservation and, look back at the days of yore that maybe were greener or maybe we had rose-colored glasses on? I don't know. Where can people find you online?
I am CSDESBIENS, CS de bien on Blue Sky and Instagram. Come follow me because I celebrated July 4th, which is the real big event, was my cat's 18th birthday.
Hell yeah!
Dimitri.
That is like full, like in Quebec, when you're 18, that's everything. You can vote, you can drink, like, let's go. He's a full-fledged adult now. But yeah, and I also posted some of the screenshots from Astrobot. So, but you can also, I'm also there in the Girls on Games Discord as always.
Joelle, where can people find you?
People can find me on Instagram at JoelleLauren87, on Blue Sky at Joelle Lauren, but always hanging out in the Girls on Games Discord. Come and say hi.
And I'm Leah Jewer on most social media platforms, but of course, you can find us on all the places, including social accounts like the Girls on Games on X and Facebook. Just Girls on Games, no thought in there on Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, and TikTok. If you want to chat with us, we got a Discord channel, discord.me/girlsongames. But if you ever need to find anything at all, you can track it down at our home base. That's our website, girlsongames.ca. Thank you, Kat. Thank you, Joelle. It's been another lovely week in video games, and I'm off to be a pirate again. Wow.
In a game, not downloading games.
Not downloading games.
Yeah,
I'm actually playing Assassin's
games.
Creed. I'm not stealing games. Yes. Right. Truth. I don't want to get in trouble. Okay, bye.
Bye.